Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make videos for NFL. All these videos that get posted on this subreddit, it's called DF Sports. I'll just have a link down below to this. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You could ask me questions about the slate, anything you need. This will be down below, and I'll reply to you. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. All right, let's get into my lineup from tonight. And if you are, interested in more in-depth content where I give you guys a core of 4 players to play, private videos for the main slate, private videos for the night slate cores, showdown cores, NFL content, prize picks content. I'm pretty much working around the clock, getting content out. My Discord link will be down below. All right, yeah, let's talk about my core and my process tonight. But we had a lot of really big nights in Discord tonight. That's unfortunate, Tony. Very unfortunate, but nice to get into the cash. Chard unfortunately did not cash. He played Andrew Wiggins over Jonathan Kaminga, which sorry, buddy. um, really good day there. Brody had a good day. Mystery had a good day. Gilmex binked. Really good day there. Cam had a really good day. Just great community. Really good day overall. But my core today, I forget if I said it already, but it was Trace, Chris Paul, Joel Embiid, and Herb Jones. Herb Jones was absolutely nuking, and Deepala just absolutely killed it. I was in first place until Paulo went for like 20 fantasy points in the last 2 minutes of the game. As you can see, everyone has Paulo ahead of me. So besides this guy, so actually I wasn't in first, but that actually makes me feel a bit better. But really unfortunate smash for Paulo in the last 2 minutes there. Just absolutely insane what he did there. But really good day overall. Hope you guys had a great day as well. It could have been much bigger if Paulo didn't just absolutely shatter those last 2 minutes of the game. All right, let's go over the slate. So we have Milwaukee, Indiana. I mean, this game is going to be a really good environment to target for fantasy. We also have Chris Middleton, who is questionable here. So we'll go over it both ways. I love Giannis here at the top. I mean, this slate is just star-studded with absolute studs in really good spots. You're going to have to make some tough calls here. But really like Giannis. We saw this game 2 games ago. He absolutely smashed. Pacers play super fast. He's going to stuff the stat sheet. He is double upside. Yeah, I love Giannis. I think he's still too cheap for this matchup. Dame, I have interest in for tournaments. Definitely a lower floor. I would say he's more priced right between the two. But these two guys, they're going to be, the ones chucking the ball, especially if Chris Middleton's out. Damian Lillard's going to have to absolutely chuck because Chris Middleton's putting up like 12 to 15 shots a game. That volume and usage has to go somewhere, and that's mainly going to be Damian Lillard putting up more shots. So if Middleton's out, Dame definitely does get a bump. I don't think I haven't looked at rates with him on off the court. I don't think the sample is going to be big enough, but there's just going to be more shots to go around, right? And that's the point. So I think Dame's in play for tournaments. I think he'd be a little bit better if Middleton's out. Middleton himself had a really slow start to last game, but playing decent minutes. I think he's solid at 7.3K. Brook Lopez, I would say, is more priced right now, but he's playing huge minutes of late. In these games, they were closing with Portis over Brook Lopez, but it seems like they have gone back to Brook Lopez in the closing lineups, which makes him very safe at 6K. Like I said, this game environment is really good. Bobby Portis, more of a contrarian play. Malik Beasley, if everyone's in, minutes aren't secure, but if you get a game where he does play 37 minutes, I mean, the still has to hit his shots, but I mean, he'll be out there a ton if he does play those minutes. And then guys like Pat Connaughton, um, I'd only really, I mean, he's in play, he's fine value. I'd really have more interested in if Middleton's out. If Middleton's out, what it really changes is the value. I think like guys like Pat Connaughton are gonna have to play a decent amount more. He would be firmly in play for value. Malik Beasley's minutes will be a bit more secure. You could even see bumps for guys like Bobby Portis. Still would be priced right, but like the guys like Malik Beasley, Pat Connaughton would be the guys to get the bumps. Would have more interest in them, and then like more shot attempts for like guys like Dame, etc. So yeah, like the Bucks tomorrow. Let's move on to the Pacers here. So Tyrese Halliburton at the top. I mean, yeah, he's too cheap. Another one of my more favorite spin ups on the slate. Just doing everything for this team. He's stuffing his stat sheet. He gives you a double every single game. We also could have Andrew Nemhard out as well here and Bruce Brown. So yeah, I really, really, really like Halliburton here up at the top. Miles Turner minutes haven't been great of late, so he's more of a contrarian play for me. And then we'll keep an eye on Bruce and Nemhard. If they're both in, I'm not gonna mess with the wings. I'm just not gonna do it. If they're both out, then guys that are going to get bumps, I'd definitely be intrigued in. Like, I think Neesmith is safe if Bruce Brown's out regardless. But if Nemhard's out too, like Matherin's going to have to play decent minutes. Neesmith's going to have to play decent minutes. You're going to see a decent amount of TJ McConnell. I'd have interest in him at 4K. He would be a solid value. Jalen Smith's minutes are ticking down. I don't really like him. They also played Isaiah Jackson a lot more last game, but the really interest I'd have here if these two guys are out is I'd definitely be intrigued and would like TD McConnell for value. I would like Matherin. Neesmith would be very, very safe, and then Buddy Hield at 5'7" would also be, pretty safe as well. Hopefully. They could still go with the hot hand with these guys, but yeah, I'd be interested in the wings if both those guys are out. And I have a feeling some of them might be popular tomorrow if both are out. So let's move on to Washington. So not much here. Tough matchup going up against Cleveland, and we know there's blowout risk every time Washington touches the court. If the game stays close, they will run a relatively tight rotation. Like if they are playing well. But yeah, Kuzma Poole, more just tournament players for me. Daniel Gafford in a tough spot. I think he's priced right. Tyus is still priced right, in my opinion. I'm not going to pay that price for Bale. Denny minutes haven't been great, but if he does play 30 minutes, he's probably my favorite of this grouping. Point per dollar, statue stuffer. And then I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to play like Corey Kispert on the slate. I don't know why they keep Koulibaly at this price point. They need to move him down. I don't understand what they're doing here. But yeah, let's go to the next game or next team here. So Garland Mobley going to continue to be out here. It's a smash spot going up against Washington. I love Donovan Mitchell here up at the top. I mean, Washington cannot stop anyone. It's a dream matchup. Washington plays fast. He's going to play close to 40 minutes. He's playing alongside guys like, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, Max Strus, right? It's like Donovan Mitchell is just going to have to do everything for this team. And if you watch the Cavs play, it's absolutely hilarious. It's like give the ball to Donovan Mitchell, and everyone else just stands there. It's legit the Cavs. Jared Allen's been more involved in the offensive late as well. But yeah, I really like Donovan Mitchell here up at the top. I have no issue if you want to play Jared Allen. You guys know I absolutely love to target Daniel Gafford on the other side of games, and I have no issue if you want to play him. He's been playing phenomenally. His assist numbers have been up. His rebounding's been really good. He should be able to feast here. I have no issue with it. I would say he's more priced right, but I have no issue if you want to keep going there. Strus priced right. Levert, I like his ceiling off the bench. I would say he's more priced right now, though, but he does have this type of ceiling. Like, he's going to be really, really high usage off the bench. I'm not going to play Wade. I'm not going to play Okoro. I'm not going to play guys like Niang. You're going to see some Sam Merrill. I'm not going to go to those guys. All right, moving on to OKC, another smash spot here. So, like, SG at the top, I think is a really good spend up. I do give the edge to guys like Halliburton and Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he's probably going to be much lower owned than those guys. So, I definitely have interest in SGA. Check going up against Atlanta. I definitely have interest in well. I like his ceiling. I would say he's priced right, but if you get a game where he goes for a couple blocks, then he does have a ton of upside at this price point. Jalen Williams is there for me. Josh Giddey, minutes haven't been great. 27-27, which, I mean, at this price point, you don't need him to play around 30 minutes. He's over a fantasy point per minute guy, so if he plays 27 minutes again, he's still going to be a solid play. And then Lou Dort at 5K is just very, very safe. He's going to play huge minutes, but does have to hit his shots. I think he's reasonable. I'm not going to get into, like, these guys are fine. Like, Joe, the Kenrich Williamses of the world, they're playable, but they're more large field tournament stuff. All right, let's move on to Atlanta. So not a good spot here. Trey, more of a contrarian play for me. DeJounte Murray, Boggs priced right. The guy I really like here is Jalen Johnson. So he is back to playing normal minutes. We know he's a really good point per minute guy. We know he's a stat sheet stuffer. We know he's a good rebounder. Not the best spot going up against OKC, but he is too cheap for the minutes he is getting right now. I really like Jalen Johnson here. Bay at 5'9" is fine, but I prefer Jalen Johnson. Okongwu's priced right. I'm not going to get to the value. All right, let's fall into Toronto. So, okay spot going up against Memphis. I have interest in, Barnes, Siakam as contrarian spin ups on this slate. These two guys are playing absolutely massive minutes, and they're both playing out of their minds right now. So I have interest in them for tournaments. I still like Quickly, even at this price point. He was on pace to play big minutes until he got into massive foul trouble. I think he's going to have a really, really good role in this team, and I think he's just going to chuck when he's out there. So I still like Quickly, even at that price point. RJ Barrett, just there for me. He got into massive foul trouble last game too. He was on pace to play big minutes as well, so I like his ceiling. I think I prefer Quickly. And then Jakob Poeltl. So nobody wanted Jakob Poeltl last game. If you guys watched my video from the other day, I said I think he is going to play big minutes with no pressures to it. They don't want to play the absolute shitters behind him. So if they're going to keep playing Jakob Poeltl this many minutes, he is way too cheap. So I definitely like Jakob Poeltl tomorrow. I've been jamming his PRA props. I've been jamming all of his props. I don't know how the field did not see that Jakob Poeltl. He was 5% owned this slate going up against Cleveland. So I like Jakob Poeltl once again. Schroeder, no thank you. Trent, I'm not going to get to the bench. All right, Memphis. We'll keep an eye on Ja. He got hurt tonight. It's back to back. We'll see. If he's in, not much here. Ja, Bane, Jaren, they're all fine. I don't know why Bane and Jaren were chalk tonight. Probably not going to be chalk tomorrow in a tough spot. Marcus Smart had the worst game of his career tonight. Luke Kennard's a playable value. Like, I'll expect low 20s minutes from him. Has to shots to reach value. It's just fine. I'm not going to play anyone else. Sentiel Dom, I'll play a ton tonight. Don't know if that happens again. But, yeah. Oh, and Bismack Biyombo, they're going small. Okay, so they're playing Biyombo, and they're going small. So, like, they're not playing Tillman or anyone. So if they're going to continue to play Biyombo, like 28 minutes, yeah, I like him for value. I don't know if it continues to happen, but I forgot to look at that. I forgot to mention that as well. Like, Tillman has not been playing. So if they're going to continue to give Biyombo that run, and then go small, I definitely have interest in Biyombo at 3.8K. So like Biyombo, and then Kennard's interesting. I don't really like the main guys. And then if you think like Aldama plays the same minutes, sure. All right, tough spot here going up against Minnesota. Ingram, Zion, CJ, they all just look okay in this spot. Going up against Timberwolves, one of the toughest matchups in the league, so more contrarian plays for me. Jonas, Larry Nance, they're both splitting the center minutes. I prefer Larry Nance to Jonas. And then if Trey Murphy's in, I'm not going to get to much else. If he's out, that's when we can start considering like Najee Marshall, Alvarado. Alvarado's in play anyway, but Herb Jones would be fine, but more priced right. I don't really think it changes too much for me on this slate going up against the Timberwolves if Murphy plays or not. But if he's out, like guys like Najee, Alvarado, Herb become a bit more in play. All right, moving on to Minnesota. I think it's fine and just priced right. I don't love the spot going up against the Pelicans, but he's their clear go-to guy, so I'm just okay with it. Cat, I think, is 7.8K now. The price has come down. I think it's solid at that price point. And then Gobert is just fine at 7.2. I'd much rather play Cat. Conley, priced right. Nas, no thank you. McDaniels, feels like a safe value. Low usage guy. I'm not going to play Slow-Mo. All right, let's move on to Brooklyn. I want to see what Claxton ended with tonight. He didn't get into foul trouble. It was a massive blowout. But past two games before that, he has played over 30 minutes. So if they are going to give him over 30 minutes, then I like him for tournaments. I think a guy like Jakob Poeltl does look a bit better, though. Mikal Bridges, this guy has just caused everyone just in incredible amounts of pain. Just a tournament play for me. Does have a ceiling. That's all I can really say. So he'll probably be really low owned, but the floor has been very, very low with him. Dinwiddie, 6.9K, doesn't stand out to me. They got absolutely waxed tonight. Cam Johnson at 6.4. The minutes aren't great on him. Price is up. Don't love it. Cam Thomas shot 0 of 11 tonight off the bench. Dorian Finney-Smith, I guess, is okay for value. There's just not much here, man. Dennis Smith Jr. should see around 20 minutes, a reasonable value. There's just not much, man. All right, Houston, keep an eye on Tari Eason. I do expect him to play. I expect him to kind of be on that same limit of 25 minutes, which at that price point seems like he's priced right, but he still does have a ceiling. He's a really, really good point per minute guy. He's a good rebounder. He can put up stats easily, so he could go for 40 in limited runs. So, he's still in play for tournaments, but more of a contrarian play for me. You guys know I always like Sengun and Fred for tournaments, so like them for tournaments. Jalen Green, no thank you. I think Jabari is priced right. Tate's been starting, been playing decent minutes, another like reasonable value, and then I'm not going to play. You couldn't pay me to play anyone else. All right, I'm going to speed this up. I feel like I've been talking for hours. So this team kind of hard to say right now. We have Simons questionable. We have Kamara questionable. We have Duop Reith questionable. We have Moses Brown questionable. If we get like Simons in, I don't like really any of the main guys. I guess Simons would be my favorite if he's not on a limit. But wouldn't like much else if we get a situation where like all these guys are out again, like Kamara, Reith, Moses Brown, then Thibault would be in play for value. I know it's disgusting. And then if Simons is out, sure, we can go to guys like Brogdon, Grant, Scoot. But they ran a really, really disgusting rotation last game. And they actually used their bigs. Jabari Walker didn't really get a ton of run until the blowout. They were actually playing, who did they were playing Moses Brown and Badgie, I think. Yeah. So if we get a situation where like Moses Brown is out, then we can start considering more of this value here. And I'll make updates when we do get that news. Because if he's out, then Jabari Walker's going to have to get more run, especially if Kamara's out. And then we'll see. So it's kind of tough to say right now. All right, dream spot here, Luca, Kyrie. I think they're both fine. I think I prefer other spend ups. Tim Hardaway Jr. No, we have Exum questionable. Derek Lively's in a smash spot. When he stays out of foul trouble, he should play around 30, 32 minutes or so. Not not a terrible point per minute guy, but it's just a smash spot going up against Portland. So I like Lively for tournaments, and then I'm not going to touch much else. All right, Chicago. So big news here. Kobe White, Patrick Williams, they're both questionable. If everyone's in going up against the Knicks, I think, DeMar, Andre Drummond, if he can stay out of foul trouble, should play over 30 minutes, but like his ceiling. And then Kobe White would be just fine. Caruso would be very safe. Io would be playable. Wouldn't love much else. But if we get a situation where, everyone's out, it's going to be a ton. Like, Io DeSumo would stand out as one of the best value plays on the slate, would really like him. DeMar would have to do everything for this team, would like him quite a bit. Drummond doesn't really change for me. Alex Caruso is going to have to do a lot more. He would be a solid play. Then you're going to see more run for guys like Javon Carter, Dalen Terry. These guys would be intriguing. Might even see some more Terry Taylor possibly. So keep an eye on that. It's going to open up a ton if those two guys are out, especially the value guys like Io, Carter, possibly some run for Dalen Terry. There would be a decent amount to like here with the Bulls. All right, moving on to the Knicks. Not a good spot going up against the Bulls. I think Brunson and Randall are fine contrarian plays. Hartenstein's just playing all the minutes he can handle right now, so I still like Hartenstein. The price has not moved at all, and he's just had, with the amount of minutes he's playing right now, his floor is very, very, very high as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. OG Anunoby also going to play huge minutes. I like him at this price point. He is just too cheap, so I like OG. Josh Hart, Dante, no thank you. Precious, no thank you. It's really just the main guys. All right, Detroit, good spot here. I really like Cade at 8.5K going up against Utah. I really like the spot here. Both teams, they're both horrible teams. Should be a good game as well. Also playing 40 minutes game, so sign me up for Cade. I like him. I like Duren too at 6.9K. If he can stay out of foul trouble, he's playing huge minutes. We know he's a really good rebounder. Double upside every single slate. Bojan, I think is solid as well. I view more your boomer bust play between these guys than the value. Knox is playable, Burks is playable, but no standouts there. This team just pisses me off. I don't know what to say. Like Jordan Clarkson had a Russell Westbrook stat line last game. They're going with the hot hand with these guys. I really don't know what to say. Sorry about that. The only guy I trust right now is Markkanen. Even then, this was a competitive game and they trolled his minutes. But if I knew Markkanen played his normal minutes tomorrow going up against Detroit, I would really, really like him. But they just troll. Like you can't with confidence play any of these secondary pieces outside of Markkanen. So I'd be lying to you if I told you what to do. I really don't. Fontecchio's been playing well, but I'm not clicking 5.1K Fontecchio. I'll let the absolute fish click him. I'm just not going to do it. All right, Clippers, nothing here. Harden, Kawhi, Paul George, they're all priced right. Zubac's just going to lose some minutes with Plumlee back, so hard to go there. Nothing else there. And then on to Phoenix. Katie's out. I think Booker, fine contrarian, spin up. Nurk, I think is solid at 7-6, and then I still like Beal at 6-9. Had a pretty bad game last game, but still like him. I'm not going to get to like Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon. Matthew started last game, reasonable, and then you saw some Bowl. So that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys all had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.